Note, if you wish to be heard at the meeting, please sign the speaker list provided on the City of Laurel's website or contact staff. The chairman reserves the right to limit the amount of time each speaker has for each agenda item. The qualifications of the members of the commission, the staff of the commission, and any consultants used are on file with the city and are hereby made a part of each and every application heard today. The guidelines and procedures adapted by the commission are also made a part of each and every application. Each application heard today is considered on its own merits and is to be considered as establishing a precedent for any other application. I'd like to take a moment and welcome our newest commission member, Mr. Greg Schweitzer. He's a lifelong resident of the city of Laurel and looking forward to his wealth of information that he will be able to bring to the commission.
Thank you, Rob. It's a pleasure to be here.
Brooke, would you like to make an announcement?
Yes, we also have tonight with us our new deputy director, Andrea. I'm pretty sure I saw her on. Andrea Brown.
Hi, Brooke. I am on. I just unmuted myself. Can everyone hear me okay?
We can.
Good evening,
Welcome, Andrea.
and thanks for having me.
Well, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
I'd like to go over a few reminders. First, to identify yourself when speaking each time for the record. When you're done speaking, please use the mute button on your computer or phone. This will eliminate background noise. Second, if we experience technical problems, the meeting will be suspended until the issue is resolved. If we're unable to resolve the issues in a timely manner, the meeting shall be postponed. Once the issues are corrected, I will call for another roll call and then we can resume the meeting. After staff presents applicant reports, I will ask commissioners to request a motion. Madam Secretary, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Clacoon.
Here.
Councilmember Les.
Here.
Ms. McSeany. Ms. McStaney? I think you're muted.
I was muted. For some reason, my space bar wasn't unmuted me. Here.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Here.
Ms. Frazier?
Here.
Mr. Davis? Mr. Schweitzer?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Great, thank you. Open discussion for the minutes of the regular meeting held for July 20th, 2021. Are there any noted corrections? If I don't have any corrections for the meeting, can I entertain a motion to approve
This
the
is
minutes?
Ms. McStaney. I move we approve the minutes for the regular HDC meeting from July 20th, 2021.
I second that motion. This is Ms. Lubinecki.
All right, Brooke, we have a motion by Ms. McStaney and a second by Ms. Lubinecki to approve the minutes as presented. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McStaney?
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes.
Councilmember Les? Councilmember Les? Ms.
Yes.
Frazier? Thank you. Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer?
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great, thank you. Okay, the next agenda item is HDC 033-2022 for 911 Montgomery Street. Would the staff like to present that to the commission?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Chair and fellow commission members. My name is Joshua Mitchum, and I'll be giving the staff report for 911 Montgomery Street. The applicant is seeking retroactive HDC approval to remove a driveway, grade the surface, and then add a replacement concrete driveway with a parking pad to the property located at 911 Montgomery Street. The installed driveway and parking pad is approximately 1,500 square feet, with the driveway length being 1,150 square feet and the parking pad being 524.5 square feet, and is comprised of concrete materials with brick pavers along the side. The installed driveway replaced an approximately 975 square foot concrete strip driveway that ran from the front yard of the property to the backyard, ending at an existing 248 square foot garage. It is in the exact position of the former driveway with the exception of the parking pad, which is an entirely new addition to the driveway. The applicant proposal appears to meet the design criteria outlined in the design guidelines of the City of Laurel Historic District Commission approval, and staff recommends that the HDC retroactively approve certificate number HDC 003-2020. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Josh. Is the applicant on the line?
Yes.
You realize, sir, that you're in the historic district and any changes to your outside exterior of your house or yard needs to come before the commission before any changes are made?
Do now.
Yeah. Well, it looks nice. The driveway looks nice, but we like the ribbons. We like the where the water leaches back into the ground and you're not using so much porous material or non-porous material. So that's typically what we're looking for in the historic district. I don't know if any of the other commissioners have any comments. Or
You're looking for porous material?
typically, that's what we're looking for in the cities.
So I know that you guys don't recommend gravel. So, and honestly, gravel's kind of looks trashy and has weed stuff growing through it. So I didn't know what other options I had.
The ribbons were an option that they lean towards.
What I previously had?
Yes, sir.
I mean, I would say if you guys lived with that, when it rains, you're stepping in mud, you go to your trunk, you're stepping in mud. It was pretty broken up. It was a pretty awful excuse for a driveway.
Mm-hmm.
This is Miss McStaney. Did you not come before us about the color of your house?
That would have been whoever painted it. I moved in January of last year, and then I
Okay,
painted it when it was blue. Hopefully they did.
This is
Okay.
Marlene Frazier. I have a question. It says here that a stop work order was issued. Was that issued before the work was complete?
I guess the answer to that is partially. When the concrete and the brick was laid in its place, as you can see in the photos, oh God, I forget his name. Maybe Josh stopped by and just said, "Hey, fill out the permit form and fill out the historic application, and hopefully it would all be resolved." And then
So you had not applied for a permit?
no, I talked to my concrete contractor, which was, A+ with a Better Business Bureau. He kind of knows Laurel, and me not knowing, obviously, that's why we're here. I said, "Hey, do I need a permit?" And he said, "You have a driveway. You're getting a new driveway. That's pretty much a done deal." Obviously, that's not the case, but that's how it went down.
If I may, the applicant has applied as of today, and upon approval of this application, I'm ready to approve the driveway permit as is.
I guess,
Inspections in the city that are required for,
Yes. So once he gets once we get the ACC approval, code enforcement or building permits will actually go out and inspect the driveway, and then he'll be issued the permit.
okay, but there's no inspection prior to pouring the concrete.
I mean, they're typically, I would have to ask building officially, but since it's already done, we can only issue the building permit retroactively at this point.
so I have to ask, what is the point? I mean, if we're not having any enforcement and if we have issuing all these things retroactively doesn't really help us achieve our goals, does it? In terms of having safe and proper,
Can I ask a question?
Certainly.
What is the goal? And I I ask this as someone who's obviously invested in this community. This driveway was probably a $20,000 undertaking, and we're here for the beautification, safety, whatever of the community. And I walk down my block, and it looks pretty trashy. You guys know this is Laurel. This isn't Nantucket. There's 3 porches on my block that are held together with ratchet straps. There's porches full of trash. There's houses that haven't seen a lick of paint in this century. And I understand, I love that you guys are here. This is fun. But it seems like maintaining my home and making upgrades, granted this is a very big upgrade, is made challenging. Meanwhile, all of my neighbors' homes, everything that's surrounded me is allowed to be decrepit. There's 2 homes literally on the corner of 8th and 9th, or on 9th Street on Montgomery, that have boarded up windows, and I don't see anything being addressed about that. So I'd really like to ask, what is the purpose of this committee? Because it's one thing to hold us to a standard, but it's another if the whole town is becoming decrepit and you're making it very difficult for me to maintain my home. I'm fine with that part, but it needs to have a balance. And frankly, the homes around me are, it's just kind of appalling. The status of some of them, and I'm just wondering what you guys do about that, or if anything.
well, if I may, this commission doesn't have the ability to, and correct me if I'm wrong, Brooke or Rob, to go after the homes that are not being fully kept up. I mean, that's not within our purview. That's code enforcement or other elements of the city. I mean, many times I think we wish we could do more. So Rob pretty well explained, like when it comes to driveways and stuff, how much you actually had the preferable driveway, which made it frankly just very disappointing as we try to not only achieve an aesthetic, but also environmentally sound practices for the historic district.
I can understand that, but I will emphasize living with it is a completely different scenario. And if it makes you guys feel any better, the brick in the driveway is reclaimed brick from an 1880s era townhome in Baltimore that I used a brick recycler for.
There are other surfaces that are permeable. And for the amount you spent, I would think that would have been possible.
I'm not sure what you're describing.
There's permeable concrete that allows the moisture to go through.
I mean, all concrete to some degree does. You're talking about with the holes in it where you,
It's a product that's being used now to help alleviate the problem of runoff. But if you had come to us before you put in the driveway, we probably would have suggested you look into it.
Basically, the purpose of this commission is to help preserve the historic value of what is left in the city. And that's mainly our job here, is to, when somebody's coming before us with a change, we want to question what the change is and how it's going to affect the property and the community as a whole. Our commission is not tasked with code enforcement. We're just tasked with applicants that are come before us to present their changes to the exterior of their building. Now, that said, it looks like you have put a lot of time, effort, and money into your house, and you are trying to make it nice. And we're not here to deter you from doing that, or deter your neighbors or anybody. It's part of our job here to help move these projects along and make it as easy as possible, with still preserving the historic value of the city of Laurel.
understood.
So, unfortunately, there are a lot of applications that come to us after the fact, and the biggest thing is, nobody understands that they're in the historic district, and they got to present their projects before the commission before they're started.
Understood. One thing that's kind of a gray area is what level of projects requires your approval. I know it's laid out on the website, but I'm looking through retroactive approvals, staff approvals, and touching up my front door with the same color white versus painting the trim on my porch versus painting my whole house. Are all of these required?
Typically, most in-kind replacements or paint color can be staff approved by the city. You can touch base with the city and they can help you with that. When you're making drastic color changes to the exterior of the house, this driveway was a major change to what you had. When you're cutting down trees, especially if they're a champion tree in the community, they definitely would have to come before the commission, and we
Sure.
would have to evaluate those.
Well, I appreciate you all having me here today. And if it's any consolation, every neighbor that's walked by that's run into me has commented on how much they like the driveway. So hopefully that stands for something.
Yes, sir. Well, I think at this point, if there's no further questions, we can approve this application as presented. I don't know if it would qualify for a tax credit, since you didn't present it to us before you actually did the work.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct in saying that, Rob?
I did see on the website that if it's approved retroactively, it's worth half of the tax credit.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, it's half the.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is Mike Les. I don't think driveways get a tax credit, if I remember correctly.
That's
Is that
correct.
correct, Rob? Brooke?
That's correct.
Okay, there's no tax credit associated with this driveway.
That's fine. I wasn't too concerned. Icing on the
But
cake.
again, I mean, the Historic District Commission has been approving split driveways. It does two things. First of all, it's consistent with what went on, 60, 70, 80 years ago. But more importantly, it allows the water that rains on this surface percolate into the ground in between the strips of concrete. And there's several, now it may not be in this block, but there's several down in the other blocks, 4th Street and so on, where they've gone and asked for an approval for a driveway where we've approved the split concrete or pervious surfaces to take place. Again, and I've got a concrete driveway that runs in the back of my home. And the first time it was laid was 1910. Okay. But it doesn't, it's not this large. This is a large driveway here. So I'll just mention that.
Based on the size, I did want to make a comment if someone was going to bring it up, that I would have been fine with a single file driveway, but if any of you know where I live, across the street from me, there's I'll say ugly gray structure that used to have parking that either I or my girlfriend could park in front of, and I used to. And someone went through the process to have every single parking spot in front of it next to the locksmith turned into permitted handicap parking. I can tell you my office, I look to my right, looks at it every single day, and there's no one parked there. So these are handicap spots for no one that I can't use across the street from my house. Additionally, down the street towards 9th Street, there is some cafe without a sign. I don't know how you have a business without a sign. It looks like they have no patrons either. I've been yelled at for parking in front of that business, even though that is public parking. But the weeds over there are so overgrown, can't even get out of your car on the street side or on the sidewalk side. And then down the road, away from 9th Street, there's a home that has a enclosed porch full of trash with a family living there, and I've been yelled at for parking in front of that house. So there seemingly is parking solutions, but I've been yelled or permitted away from all of them. So to keep my vehicles and my girlfriend's vehicles safe on the property, I had to obviously shell out and create a solution on my own land. So I know this isn't the place to bring up that concern, but I'm certainly giving you the reason as to why I wanted the extra space.
And there may be something you have to go to the city and address. I don't believe there's permit parking on Montgomery Street, so I think it would be first come, first serve.
I can tell you with certainty that there's a handicap sign, and then below it says permitted spot or something like that. And I've even parked there illegally, and a cop came by and knocked on the door and said I had to move my car. So I'm playing by the rules for that. Sorry about the driveway, but that was my solution.
All right. Well, do you have any other exterior changes that you have coming up that you may start, projects you may start?
Yeah, a million, but
yeah,
I assume I'll go through the proper channels and send you paperwork for that.
Yep, just go to the city and give them the information, and they'll help you along the process. And most items, if they're in character with the community, with the street, get approved. So we want people to invest back into their homes, invest in the community, and help maintain their properties. So, what you're doing is what we're looking for. It's just, we do have a process in the city, and we just ask people that they follow that process.
Completely understood. Thank you, Robert.
Yes, sir.
So this is Miss McSeany. I'd like to welcome you to the neighborhood. I'm sorry you haven't had a wonderful welcome. Street parking can be tight in places, and where I live, nobody has complained about the wrong people parking in front of their house. But I would like to move that we approve HDC 033 2022 for 911 Montgomery Street.
Do I have,
Second, I'll
I'll
second.
second.
okay. So I have a motion by Ms. McSaney and a second by Ms. Lubinecki to approve HDC 033-2022. Brooke, would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes,
Councilmember Liz,
yes,
Ms. Frazier,
yes,
Mr. Switzer,
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all.
All right, good luck. Welcome to the neighborhood.
Thank you.
Okay, moving along to agenda item HDC 015-2022 for 505A Montgomery Street. Would the staff like to present a report to the commission?
Good evening, Mr. Chair and fellow HDC members. This is Monte Burrow, Planner 2. The applicant is seeking HDC retroactive approval to make facade changing and exterior renovation to the existing house. The proposed work, the applicant has removed and replaced the existing windows on the house. The applicant has installed 10 new windows. The applicant will be installing windows in the front, side, and rear of the house. The new windows are 65 inches by 27 inches. The new windows are double pane with aluminum trim. Staff recommends that HDC Commission approve certificate number 015-2022 with the condition that the applicant shall attain all applicable law permits for the project. The applicant is on the phone for any questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Monte, for your report. Is the applicant on the Zoom meeting?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, I'm sure you
Of
just
course.
everything with the previous applicant, that if you're doing projects, exterior projects at your home in a historic district, that you need to get approval from the commission before work is done.
Correct. Yeah, I just got the packet and went through it. So yeah, I have a good idea of all the items to get approved prior to any work.
Okay. The main issue on this is you removed windows that had grids, 6/6 grids, and you put windows back that had no grids. So you definitely changed the appearance of the house. Do you know when this house was built? Doesn't look like it's a real old house.
1977.
Right. The main issue, I guess, would be that the other homes, are their windows plain or do they have grids in them as well?
So going down the street, I see a handful, it's not too many, but there are houses that have no grids on different sides of the street. So I know the next set of units next to me, there's an end unit. I think that's might be maybe in the 500. I'm not sure what that number is, but that one is no grids, and the next two next to it are, but they're pretty old. And then there's a few behind me that are no grids. So before I bought it, I was looking around to see what everybody else had, and there's a handful that didn't. So and then yeah, there was an old wood
if we would
window.
have had a chance, we probably would have recommended that you put back the same style window that you were removing.
Okay.
Or in after the fact. Do you know if these windows are able to have the grids installed in them?
I don't know. I can ask. I can ask if they had grids to snap on them or put on them. I don't know. Nor do I know how much cost that would be, but I can find out.
I know some of the windows you can put grids in them after the fact. Some you cannot.
Okay.
And that may be.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. Yeah, I don't think I ever familiar with snapping on grids on it, but I can ask and see for sure.
All right, is there any other comments from the commissioners for the applicant?
The shutters and the railing look very nice. Were they put on before you moved in?
Yeah, the shutters were already there, already in place. They're kind of died. They need to be repainted. Repainted
Repainted.
because they're bleeding into the actual color of the front of the home.
This is Miss McSaney. It's a very flattering photograph of the
My
house.
neighbor.
Not to disparage your house, but it is a particularly flattering photo.
Just
Yeah.
a reminder that if you decide you do want to repaint those shutters, that you will actually need to come back to us.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That and the outside of the home too. Yes.
All right, if there's no other questions for the applicant, can I entertain a motion that we, for HDC 015-2022?
This is Miss McSaney. I move we approve HDC 015-2022 for 505A Montgomery Street.
I second.
Okay, Brooke, I have a motion from Miss McSaney and a second from Miss Frazier to approve HDC 015-2022. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Councilmember Les,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer,
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon,
Yes,
motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you all
Have a good evening.
as well. You as well. Thank you all.
Okay, moving on to agenda HDC 017-2022 for 505 Prince George Street. Would the staff please present a report to the commission?
Yes, good evening again, Mr. Chair and fellow commission members. This is Joshua Mitchum giving the staff report. The applicant is seeking HDC approval to perform several exterior alterations to the property. The first being a roof replacement. The applicant is proposing to replace an existing green metal roof with a gaff timberline roof with charcoal gray colored shingles. This roof replacement will replace the roofs on the house and the front porch. For the fence replacement, the applicant is proposing to replace an existing black metal fence with a wooden picket style fence in white color. For the siding, the applicant is proposing to replace the existing cedar shakes, which are uncolored and unpainted, with forest green colored Dutch lap siding. And finally, the applicant is proposing to replace the existing gutters in kind, which will be in white color. The proposed actions requested by the applicant appear to meet the requirements established in the City of Laurel Unified Land Development Code, as well as the design criteria listed by the HDC. Staff recommends that the HDC approve certificate number 17-2020. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Any comments for the or questions for the applicant?
Yes, this is Ms. Lubinecki. Well, I have to say, I think the majority of what you're proposing is perfectly fine, but I have to question your decision to replace the roof. It looks, I mean, I walked it today, I took a look. It's a perfectly good standing seam roof. The color, let us all agree, could be better, and a darker, more appropriate, a red, something else would be much preferable. I wonder if you could give us a little bit of your thinking on why you want to replace a perfectly good and long-lasting standing seam roof, which we actually consider much more desirable, and which actually reflects the two houses to the, if you're
You're muted.
all right, the other two houses also have standing seam roofs to the right of it. Not Mrs. Snyder's house, but the two houses on the other side are also standing seam roofs. So I wonder if the applicant could give us a little bit of their thinking there, because I'm puzzled on the roof question.
Hello, everyone. So I am their daughter. Just give me a second to kind of translate this, and I'll translate his response. So ella quiere saber por qué quieres cambiar el roof. Ella caminó y dice que por lo que ella ve, se ve bien y se ve que te va a durar y se ve igual o similar a las que están al lado. So ella quiere saber tu proceso de pensamiento, por qué lo quieres cambiar.
Porque quiero ponerlo de chingo. Es la única razón, quiero cambiarlo.
Okay.
Quiero cambiar el estilo, quiero cambiar no quiero de metal.
Okay, so I mean, it's just pretty simple. The reasoning he just wants is the shingles. He doesn't think this style or like this style. And he wants it. You want metal shingles?
No,
No.
¿cómo se llama esa cosa?
Chingo, no, no es metálica.
No,
Es-
No, it's not metal. Okay,
no.
give me a second.
Se llama chingo, así es, roofing chingo.
Es un chingo, es
So yeah, he just wants to change it to the roofing shingles.
There's nothing wrong with the roof as a
Sí.
roof. I mean,
It's rotten. They're saying it's rotten.
is it leaking?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, it is leaking.
Looks pretty good from the outside.
De muchos ojitos pequeños.
He says it's little small holes that you really wouldn't be able to see from the outside unless you're maybe at the top, but from the inside it is leaking.
Would he be able to entertain the notion to maybe keep a standing seam roof over the porch? And that would help
Que si le quiere mantener el mismo
keep the
concepto.
style of the house with the neighborhood.
So you're giving him the idea or the option that he could change the roof, but just keep the porch roof the same?
Correct.
And a good reason for that is that the porch roof doesn't have nearly the slant that the main roof does. And porch roofs tend to go bad much more quickly because of that.
Okay. ¿So lo entendés que?
No, que
So ellos están proporcionando que tú, si te dejan cambiar esto, pero que mantengas lo cubierto del porch el mismo de este.
de metal.
Ajá.
¿Sí está bien? Pues no es mucho después.
Pero vamos a cambiar para poner un nuevo.
Pero lo vamos a cambiar uno nuevo, se le puede poner uno nuevo.
Al porch no.
Quieren mantener ese viejo.
Yeah.
Pero preguntarle si no podemos poner uno nuevo, el mismo material, pero nuevo.
Would we be able to, for example, if we do want to change the porch, would we be able to change it and keep the same material, or will we have to go through this whole process again?
Or that's what we're here tonight to decide what material you would use on both roofs, the roof on the house and then the roof over the porch.
So he says he could keep the one for the porch the same. He would just update it.
Correct.
Repaint it.
That would be acceptable.
Okay, so yeah, si mantenés el otro,
Ujú.
el mismo material del porch está bien y podés cambiar.
Okay.
Okay.
Rob, I have a question if it's okay, or,
Certainly, go ahead.
sir, I live in the next block up from you. When you repair the roof over the porch, would it be possible to relocate the TV dish? So it's not on the front of a historic house?
Okay, give me a second to translate that. He said,
Okay.
cuando hagas este cambio, si es posible cambiar la antena de dish or the DirecTV.
Quitarla.
Uh-huh.
Sí, vamos
He
a
said,
quitar.
that's fine. He says that's okay.
Okay.
La pueden poner.
Do you know where it could go, or does the DirecTV people have to decide that?
Wherever you get reception, I mean, if you can't relocate it, if you lose reception altogether, I guess you would have to leave it where it is. But I think it would be more presentable to the house if you could relocate the dish. But if not, I guess you can't. I don't know.
So ideally, like on the side or on the back, where would you guys prefer for this to be at?
maybe in the back if it would receive anything.
Okay, we'll double check with then, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
This is Miss Nixini. Why do you want to cover up the cedar shakes, which I think could be original to the house?
¿Por qué querés cambiar los cedar shakes si son que ella piensa que son originales a la casa?
Porque están todos podridos ya, están cayendo algunos.
He says they are rotten, some are completely falling off.
And the siding, the Dutch lap siding, is that going to be vinyl or is it going to be wood?
Vinyl.
Okay.
The color that's proposed for the Dutch lap siding, is that close to anything in the pre-approved list? I'm just thinking that the forest green that I would imagine it to be, and I can't tell from what's online, and the dark gray roof might be very, very dark.
Pero ella está preguntando si el verde que ustedes han elegido es algo que es aprobado por la ciudad.
No le llevamos una muestra a la ciudad.
Nosotros llevamos la muestra, no sé si
Okay.
ellos.
I mean, we're not sure if it's something that it has been approved, but we dropped off the sample of the colors.
This is Miss McSaney. I think maybe Brooke might be the one to answer that, because like on my screen that doesn't look green, it looks gray.
It's like green, realmente medio verde. ¿Dónde está?
If I may, I've seen the samples in person, and it's greater than it looks on this screen. Yeah.
Yeah, it is more green. I think the scan kind of fades the color out a little bit.
Ms. Lubinacki, just a question. Since we've all agreed that we'll probably keep the roof as the standing seam, that's a very bright green for that roof, which is going to look, I think, very odd next to that siding. I might suggest to the applicant, and we would be happy within a certain range to approve something probably today, that he also repaint the roof, the green roof, the porch roof. If you're going to be putting that forest green siding on, I would like to suggest that a more complementary color, perhaps.
I believe Ms. Lubinecki, I believe he's going to replace that standing seam roof so he could get a color that may be more desirable instead of painting it.
Is that what he's going to be, is actually replacing the current standing seam on the porch? I wasn't clear that that's what he was going to do, or just repaint that one. Could we clarify that maybe?
So he would replace the porch, but keep it the same. It would just be like an updated material, but the same material.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you submit samples of that color to the commission?
By today?
No, but Brooke, is there an acceptable roof color in the palette?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could send her the pre-approved color list.
For the roof palette?
I don't think we have a separate roof palette.
Okay. I mean, generally the standing seams are either a gray, like two of the neighbors are, kind of a red generally, sometimes a darker, but it's kind of like the red with the forest green would be perfectly fine, actually, a little Christmassy, but cute. I think one of those colors, it's more like the very bright green that we have right now would not be what.
No, it's not a bright green. It's like, it gives hues of gray.
No, I mean the current porch roof.
Okay. ¿Qué color es
Verde, pero claro, como bright.
el actual? El color que tiene actualmente?
Verde, claro, así como brillante.
¿Cuál? ¿El roof?
El porch.
El porch.
Oh.
Oh, es verde, pero como bien claro, como brillante. Quiero fuerte, oscuro.
So you would prefer like a darker green than the green it has now?
This is Miss McSaney. So the color that it is now
Mhm.
was not the color that was approved several years ago.
Okay.
Most of the roofs are, the metal standing seam roofs are more subdued in color. If you drive around the neighborhood, you can see it's a red, you can see silver, you can see gray, you can see a much more toned down green.
Got it.
So one of those would be appropriate. And when you replace the roof, they come in colors now. You know, you don't put a roof up and then paint it. It comes pre-painted.
It's baked in.
Okay.
What's the plan for the shutters?
¿Quieren cambiar los shutters?
Los shutters también.
No, we're not changing anything on the shutters.
You're gonna reinstall them after you put the siding up?
Yeah,
Okay.
those would remain the same. Yeah.
The
Same
same
color.
color?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're gonna have the green on the green for the shutters?
You're gonna keep it. Lo vas a mantener verde y verde? Yeah, for right now, for the time being, yes.
Okay, I'll go, this is Miss McSaney. I'll go ahead and I'll say that I don't think I could vote to approve that. Because it would just look like it would not look appropriate. You know, you're making a lot of changes and that would just be too much. You know, it would not look like the same house at all, I don't
Be
think.
very dark. Here's a thought. If you picked a color for the porch roof and you matched the shutters to that, it might brighten things a bit.
That's fine. I guess if you guys just send us what pre-approved colors you guys have, we'll go with whatever you guys want. We're not going to make this a big deal. So whatever colors are pre-approved, we'll look them over. I think we've been in communication with Brooke, if I'm not mistaken. She has my parents' email. So whatever she sends us, we'll look over it. And you know, just keep the process going.
Two more things. Will the trim remain white?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Also on the fence, I noticed you didn't supply a picture of the top of the fence. The existing metal fence.
They're removing that.
I know, but it's appropriate for the house.
Well, it's kind of, I believe it's curved, Marlene. I mean, I walked past this afternoon. I think it's kind of got a little curve. It doesn't look particularly historically significant. It doesn't look like a divan fence or anything like that.
I went by also, and it looked like it may belong to the house.
Right.
I'm not sure.
This is Miss McSaney. It's probably only been there maybe 10 years.
Okay.
A friend of Pat Quill, if you recall, you know, the house went through a transformation some time ago, instigated by a friend of Pat Quill's, who then, you know, moved out, and then the house fell back into its usual state. But they put up that fence.
Oh, okay.
But is the new fence going to be wooden?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, this is Miss McSaney. I'd like to move that we approve HDC 017-2022 with the following changes.
Okay.
That the main roof of the house can be replaced as proposed. The roof of the front porch. Oh, what about the side porch? I'm sorry, are you replacing that roof? I forgot about that.
Do you have a side porch?
Yeah, it will side porch. We have to change everything. Yeah, whatever is, todo lo que sea de roof lo vamos a cambiar.
Yeah, but he's willing to keep the same material for the front and the side porch.
Okay. So the main roof of the house be the shingle and the porch roofs be a standing seam metal roof in an pre-approved color. That
Yes.
the shutters match the standing seam roof and that we're good with the vinyl siding and
Okay.
the fence.
I'll second that.
Okay, Brooke, we have a motion by Ms. McSaney and a second by Ms. Lubinecki that we approve HDC 017-2022 with the amendments. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Councilmember Les,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
Yes.
Mr. Switzer,
Yes.
Mr. Clacoon,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you. Okay, good luck with your project.
Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
You as well.
Bye-bye.
Okay, moving on to HDC 016-2022 for 418 Prince George Street. Would the staff please present their report to the commission?
Hi.
Yes.
This is Paris Tallheimer.
Hi. Yeah, so this is Joshua Mitchum again, giving the staff report for the application. Just give me one moment here. The applicant is seeking HDC Commission approval to replace 2 existing side windows. The applicant is proposing to replace 2 side windows on the first floor of the house on its north side. The applicant states that the existing wood frames for the windows are rotted and proposed to place white vinyl coverings over the existing wood frames. The windows being replaced are both 45 inches by 31 inches, and the window replacements are to be the same size as the existing windows and are modern style and double paned. The applicant has also provided the HDC window questionnaire for more information on the exact specifications, and the applicant proposal appears to meet the criteria outlined in the design guidelines of the City of Laurel Historic District Commission, and staff recommends that the HDC approve certificate number 106-2020, and the applicant is available to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. I guess one question that really doesn't relate to us, but I see it in here, that the windows have rotten frames, wood frames, and you're just going to cover over the existing wood frames. You're not going to replace the rotten wood in there?
No, the wood frames will be replaced. That's the whole goal,
Okay.
but they will be then clad in vinyl.
Great, okay. I was just clarifying that. Any other questions for the applicant?
This is Miss McSaney. So the windows are going to look exactly like they do now. Is that correct?
Yes, if I were to come in and have a team do it overnight, you'd never know what happened.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I wasn't perfectly clear on that. All right, thank you.
Did this application include a fence? Or was I misreading it?
There's no mention of a fence on the application. This is just about windows.
Okay.
I believe that was the previous application.
The next one.
This is Ms. Lubinecki. I was going to make a motion that we approve HDC 016-2022 for 418 Prince George Street.
This is Miss McSaney. I'll second that.
Okay, Brooke, we have a motion from Ms. Lubinecki and a second from Ms. McSaney to approve HDC 016-2022. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Ms. McSini,
Yes.
Councilmember Les,
yes,
Ms. Frazier,
yes,
Mr. Switzer,
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. Good luck with your project.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You as well. Moving on to HDC -020-2022 for 335 Montgomery Street. Would the staff please call the roll? Or I'm sorry, please present the report.
Good evening again, Mr. Chair. This is Monte Borough Planner 2. The applicant requests HDC retroactive approval to install a chain link fence with a gate located along the front and right side of the property. The fence will match the existing chain link fence located along the front side rear of the property. The fence height will remain the same and then match the existing height. Staff recommends that the HDC retroactively approve certificate number 2020-22 to include the following conditions. The applicant shall obtain a City of Laurel fence permit. The applicant is on the phone for any questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Monte. Any questions or comments for the applicant from the commissioners?
I live right across the street. And I was wondering why part of the fence is green and the other part's silver.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so the original fence that goes around the entire rest of the yard is green. So when I applied, they asked that I do it in the exact same color. So that's why the frame part of the fence is silver and the meshing part of the fence is green to match everything else.
Isn't the mesh in the front silver?
It should be green, I believe.
Actually, Ms.
silver.
Frazier, I actually walked, I'm sorry, I walked on your property today, Laurel, to take a look because I had the same question and I went very close and it is actually green. It's very faded, but it's green. There's the green striping or whatever you've put on was on there, but the fence on the side is actually green.
Yeah, it's so old that it actually in the pictures that I originally sent in looked black, but it is green.
So the fence in the front is now silver.
No, it should all be green. It's just the older fence looks very faded.
Now, the older fence looks green.
All the fence should be green now, I believe.
Take a look at the front.
I'll double check it unless they did something wrong, but that's what, yeah, the fence part is green. The meshing, which matches
Is
the
it?
other
Okay.
fence. The poles are silver.
Right.
Okay, any further questions for the applicant?
This is Ms. Lubinecki. I'll make a motion that we retroactively approve HDC 020-2022 for 335 Montgomery Street.
This is Ms. McSini. I second that.
Okay, Brooke, I have a motion from Ms. Lubinecki and a second from Ms. McSini that we approve HDC 020-2022. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Lubinecki? Ms. McSini?
Yes.
Councilmember Les?
yes,
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Mr. Switzer?
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon?
Yes,
Motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, you too.
Next agenda item is HDC 024-2022 for 616 Prince George Street. Would the staff please present the report to the commission?
Yes, good evening again, Mr. Chair. This is Monte Borough Planner 2. The applicant is seeking HDC retroactive approval to make facade changes and exterior renovation to the existing house. The applicant received a stop work order. The applicant is seeking HDC approval to make exterior renovations, which include the removal and replacement of the gutters. The applicant will be installing a new 6-inch aluminum seamless high gloss white gutters. The previous gutters were gray. Staff recommends the HDC retroactively approve certificate number 024-2022. The applicant is on the phone for any questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Monte. Did the stop work order have to do with just the gutter, or were there other items that it was stopped for?
From what we gather, it was just for the gutters.
Okay. And what was replaced? That was they were square 5-inch. They weren't rounded gutters, correct?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. Any questions or comments for the applicant from the commissioners?
No, other than the fact that the gutters were just falling down. In some areas, they were damaged due to the thunderstorms that we had lately. And so they were basically, because we have so much water damage, we had a flooding, we wanted to replace these with new ones and prevent any house damage, that is in, that it's been in our house lately. So, and other than that, thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you for being here with us, and presenting. And you understand that you're in the historic district, and anything you do to the exterior of your home needs to come before the commission before the work is started.
Yes, when we originally purchased this home not that long ago, we were told that we were in a historic district and that we have a historic home, but we didn't fully understand what that meant, other than that we were in a cool area. So now we understand that we have to get these interior approved by your committee, for your, with your committee. So from now on, we are going to approve every project. We also will have a roof replacement, but I understand that that's next month that we're going to bring it up as well, which the roof has a damage. So we're just gonna try to replace that as well. Due to the fact that we have flooding and leakage and water into our house. So if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Thank you. And I'm sorry, we didn't have a picture of that. Is that a standing seam roof that you're replacing?
Yes.
Yeah.
The one that you've seen, the roof is a metal roof right now, and it's extremely damaged. It has holes. I understand that we send the pictures, but if not, we'll be prepared more next month with those pictures so you guys can actually see the holes. And the gutters were, you don't have a picture right now, but the gutters were sort of moved due to the thunderstorm. They're kind of hanging on the other side of the house. And so there are some damage to the gutters. So we figure we're gonna try to replace the gutters and the roof, but we were stopped. When we were replacing the gutters, we were stopped and said that we have to approve it.
Okay. So if you're going to replace the roof, you're not going to put the gutters on before you replace the roof, are you?
We were told by the contractor that it's not going to affect anything. But if you believe that we should be waiting to approve the roof as well before we do the gutters, we can wait. But my concern is that because they're damaged right now and we are having, they're not doing what they're supposed to do or what they're meant to do. So we're having flooding in the house. We thought that we can replace the gutters as soon as possible due to the fact that we have a lot of rain. But if not, we can, I guess, if you suggest that we should wait, we can wait. Although our contractor said that shouldn't matter at all. And I did have to ask the same question. I had the same question, so.
Yeah, the only thing I was wondering is if they tear the roof off, there could be a chance of damaging the gutters. So I don't know.
So do you think we should wait probably?
About it. So if he tells you it's not going to damage it, You know, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's what they said. So,
Mhm.
As long as his contract includes repairing any damage to the gutters.
exactly. Yeah, that is what they said. Now that I talked to you guys, maybe perhaps next month we have the meeting on the 15th about the roof. So maybe I can wait until then and see if it's better to wait. So yeah, it's up to you guys. You tell me, because I only have their word. I don't know if I have a warranty on it. So
It's more like a question for your protection, not not related to whether or not we approve your project. It's really kind of making sure that your project goes as you hope it will.
exactly. No, I agree. I can double check if if there's in a contract that they can, make sure that they will not damage it and I have a warranty, then, then we'll proceed, if that's okay. Yeah.
Okay.
The 4225.
Yeah, question not related to this. I guess it's more related to the roof. Are you leaning
Up to 200.
on the standing seam roof? Or are you going to propose a asphalt shingle roof?
So we were hoping to propose that. The metal I know it's a long term and it's probably better quality. However, it takes 20 to 30,000 K a year just to replace the whole thing, if not more. So it was just expense concern that that it is easier for us to manage it, money wise, and as well as yearly or 20 years of maintenance. So it was just basically trying to match as well with the neighborhood, because the entire row of our neighborhood is shingles and we are the only ones with metal. So we were kind of hoping to sort of match that whole neighborhood. So there's a 3 reasons. One is financially more easily affordable. 2, it matches with the neighborhood. And 3, maintenance in general, just easier to maintain it. And so it also, my husband is trying to tell me that we have a little shed or den that it's next to the house. I don't know if you guys already, it's behind the house. And so that piece that it's added from previous owner, it has a shingles. So it kind of looks like shingles and then the metal in the same house.
In that, one of the things that the city of Laurel offers to people doing work in the historic district is a tax credit. So any money that you spent, I know you would be spending more to put the standing seam roof back, but that would qualify you for a tax credit that you could apply towards your property taxes.
Yes, I understood that there's like 2% of the amount, whichever amount I guess it costs. So if we were going to go with the metal, if they cost 30,000 to replace the whole thing, they will only give us 3,000, I think, tax credit. So that's not really much. So although it's nice to have anything back from taxes, of course, naturally, but when I think about financially, versus to put 30,000, I have to put all of that money right away. I can't just do like in pieces. So if I'm to spend 30K for the roof to replace, and it has holes and everything, now that means, it's not really financially good. I will have to wait until I save all that money and have all that money in order to replace that. But if I was to do shingles, like everyone else in the neighborhood, including my dent, like the part that is there, then I could easily put that right away, like 10K or 15 or whoever, how much it costs to replace. So that is the only reason why I was kind of hoping that I can replace it right away, because due to these thunderstorms all the time in Laurel, for some reason, I already had a flooding in the basement. I had a flooding in areas in the house and then a second floor as well. So it was my concern that it's going to damage the inside of the house, and it's a 100-year-old house. So that's the reason why I'm trying to replace these damaged areas. I'm sorry if I'm talking too much.
That's right. Quick question. Have you actually gotten an estimate of what replacing the standing seam would be?
For the metal piece for the roof?
Yes.
Yes, they said somewhere roughly between, the type of that we have to do is roughly between 25 and 30K with the labor and everything else. And then we did the estimates for the shingles, at least the ones that you guys approve or that everyone else has in the neighborhood. And they're roughly somewhere between 10 and 15K. So it's a half, like it's a huge difference. But nevertheless, I will still go with whatever you guys decide, because even if I go with metal, it's gonna last me for 70 years. It's a good investment. It's just that it's hard to maintain it. You know, if something does happen, if there's a huge storm and peels it off, you know, that kind of thing. And if it makes a hole, if something falls on it and damages it. So it is a lot of financially kind of a burden to like have that kind of money to replace a roof, you know, because every time that kind of financial impact I have to do, that means I have to save for years and years in order to have it in case something happens. I can't just right away pull something out, you know, not that kind of money. But you know, so that was the reasoning behind it, that it, you know, more like mental kind of safety, that with shingles, I can right away get the money, I can borrow from the bank, or I can take it from my own self and savings. But when it comes to 30K, that's a huge chunk for me to like pull it out of nowhere. So that is the only reason, because when it comes to roof, you can't just wait for months. You know, you will have leakage, you will have damage and that kind of thing. So.
Would you consider talking to your contractor about using a metal roof on the porch?
Sure.
And ask him what the difference in price would be?
Absolutely. So when you mention porch, we kind of have two porches. One is the one you see in the front, and one is to the side. Do you mean both of those porches?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just find out what the difference would be, because
absolutely
with a porch roof, with a porch roof, they go bad much more quickly because there isn't as much of a slant.
Yeah, that makes sense. Would that be like confusing, like that you have two different ones, or would that not matter to you, right? Okay, great. All right, wonderful.
We have many houses in the neighborhood that have a shingle main roof and then standing seam for the porch.
Excellent. That's perfect. Yeah, we can definitely get two different estimates, and we can keep the metal for the two porches and then have shingles for the top roof.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion then that we approve HDC 24/2022 for 616 Prince George Street. For the new gutters,
Excellent.
Retroactive.
Okay, Brooke, I have a motion from Ms. Lubinecki and a second from Mrs. Frazier that we approve HGC 2024-2022. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. Lubinecki?
Yes.
Ms. Frazier?
Yes.
Councilmember Les?
Yes.
Ms. McSaney?
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer?
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Great. All right, we'll look
Thank you very much.
Look forward to seeing you next month.
Likewise.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, the next agenda item is a tax credit for 710 Montgomery Street, submitted by Mr. Nichols. Any questions or comments?
This is Ms. McSaney. I move we approve the request for the tax credit for 710 Montgomery Street.
Mr. Schweitzer, second.
Okay, Brooke, we have a motion by Ms. McSaney and a second by Mr. Schweitzer that we approve the tax credit for 710 Montgomery. Would you please call the roll?
Ms. McSaney?
Yes.
Mr. Schweitzer?
Yes.
Councilmember Les,
Yes.
Ms. Lubinecki,
Yes.
Ms. Frazier,
yes,
Mr. Cocoon.
Yes,
Motion carries.
great, thank you. All right, the next item is staff approvals. We have quite a few of them, but we have a lot of in-kind work. And it looks like the city is really going out and enforcing this stuff and issuing stop work orders. So I commend the city for putting out that effort and also working with the citizens and helping to get things pushed through and projects, you know, instead of impeding them, we're getting them through. And so I commend the city for their hard work for that. That being said, is there any comments about any of the staff approvals?
This is Miss McSaney. I had an idea, and I don't know how we would go about implementing it because I'm sure we can't just decide to do it. But it occurred to me over the past couple of months as I've seen work being done, and I've reported it using the My Laurel app for things that I was pretty sure we hadn't approved, that maybe we should come up with something that people can put in their windows when they're getting this work done, like a bright blue piece of paper that, you know, can be easily seen from the sidewalk, that says we've approved it. You know, that way we could, you know, if I'm walking down Prince George Street and somebody's getting their house painted and I have forgotten that we approved it or didn't know that it, you know, forgotten that it was a staff approval, I could see the bright blue piece of paper like, oh, I don't have to report.
We can certainly look into that. We'll see what the building department makes them do. I'm not sure if they have to actually post the permit or not in the window. So I'll double check with them. And if it's something where they have to post, maybe we can have them give them a sticker like put on there or something. But we can look into that.
Yeah, because some of that might not even be permitted work because it'll just be a repaint or something. But having something that would be visible would be helpful. I think that's an excellent suggestion from Ms. McSaney.
We can definitely look into that. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Okay, that being said, can I entertain a motion that we adjourn?
Mr. Chairman, I actually have one question for the staff. I'm sorry. I was out of town, so I wasn't looking at the agenda as completely. I have a question, and it was related when I was rereading the minutes. 309 Laurel Avenue is the house that we had a lot of discussion on about them redoing the windows, which had been done inappropriately. And I can't help but notice that nothing has happened on that house to fix the windows. And I wonder if the staff had any update or knew what was going on there with that house.
We haven't heard any updates. What we can do is we'll look into it tomorrow to see where the applicant is with that. We can reach out to them.
Because that was like July that they were supposed to put the original windows back, and we had all come to an agreement on how that would be done. So if you could look at that again, that would be super. Thank you.
Sure.
The entire front yard has been dug up and been that way for quite some time.
So this is Miss McSaney. I think Mr. Clacoon was looking for a motion to adjourn. So I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. McSaney. Enjoy, everybody.
Okay.
Good evening.
See you
Good
next
night.
month.